Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So again, welcome. This is Marie, your leadership development coach. And again, Kim is not going to be on tonight. Her father is having a procedure. They're up in Tallahassee, so keep him in your prayers. But thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Remember that this link is going to remain the same for our group seminars. So for the rest of the group seminars coming up. Of course, with Thanksgiving around the corner, I think we have 3 weeks before our next one, so stay tuned for that. But my friends, you are now becoming opportunity makers, and with conversational selling skills, you have the power to grow your business even more. So let's work together to take the next step toward achieving your dreams. And it starts with setting goals, and that's what this module is all about. It's important that you realize the significance and apply this knowledge in your business. So goals are what take us forward in life and of course in our business, and they are the oxygen to our dreams, right? So this is probably the most important module in the whole series. It's going to push you a little bit outside of your comfort zone as far as looking and analyzing your business, but you will really appreciate the knowledge that you're going to learn from this. All right, so let me see if I can get this slide moving forward. All right, here we go. So our goal setting agenda includes starting with your dream. Then the first step in achieving your dream is setting SMART goals. Then our measures or our key metrics, what to think about, and then wrapping up with defining strategies. So this topic is not only important, but really and truly relevant to our group. So and now I'm going to ask you to come off your mics if you want to participate. So how do you think you and your teams will benefit from goal setting? And sort of a two-part question, how do you think your team will benefit from defining strategies and setting goals? So you can answer one or the other or both, but how do you think you and your team will benefit from goal setting or defining strategies and setting goals? Anybody want to share what your thoughts are on that? Come on, don't let me do all the talking by myself tonight. Uh-oh, we can't unmute, Betty says. Okay. All right, then I guess I will do that for you if I can. Let me get back here. All right, I'm going to unmute everybody. Here we go. Thank you, Betty, for bringing that to my attention. Everybody, yay. All right, so now look, if you do have background noise, kids, dogs, husbands in the background, go ahead and mute your microphone. But for those that want to share, please join in. Okay, come on. So how do you think you and your teams will benefit from goal setting?
We'll make more money.
Yay! Yeah, that's you know, that's probably the biggie, right? Setting goals, you know, setting a path to maybe title advancement. You know, if you don't have any goals, I mean, where do you and your team know where you're going to go, right? It's like a roadmap. It's like a roadmap. All right, thanks. Yeah, the money part, you know, bottom line, title advancement, all of that equals money. I mean, and that's what we're here for, right? This is a business, and bottom line, that, you know, it's nice to be happy and everybody feel all warm and fuzzy, but I think we're all in this for money. So I think that Barbara was probably the biggest of the answers. I'm sure there's others. Anybody else want to share anything?
Help us stay better organized.
Better organized to be, yep, that roadmap and the goal setting certainly is going to keep you better organized. Take a lot of stress off your plate, right?
Right. Goal setting and then defining strategies will help with You know, the newer folks and some of us that are a little get distracted easy, I think that would help us a lot to focus on what we want to go for as a group and a team.
I agree. And Mary says if the team shares their goals, we have a better understanding of how we can work together. So very true. So that sort of goes hand in hand with that. All right.
I also think, oh, sorry.
Go on.
They're gone? Okay, sorry. I was going to say that I also think sometimes I missed a little bit at the beginning. I didn't have too much audio, so I don't know if somebody said this. But I think that goal setting helps because sometimes certain incentives or certain goals we may think we have, may think that they're unattainable. But what I like to do is, like, if you have a really big goal and you just break it down into simple steps, you could realize that something that you thought was so far off could be a lot easier than you thought. Because, for example, this Saturday, that, in the afternoon, we did that little mini training on pathway to bronze leader. Even though it turned into it really turned into just one-on-one help about something else. But just that worksheet that Elaine gave us, and he broke down, how to do the, the math of how much you're making, how much you will make, and we basically did some math, broke down to exactly how many representatives you would need to become bronze leader. And something like that, I looked at that. It was a big number for me. I mean, it wasn't exactly my numbers, but it was still like I needed like 48 more people. But still, to me, it was like, oh, well, that's doable. It's a specific number. And so I think that if we do that, we set not just the goal, but how, all the steps, it will make it easier.
Right. Gemma, thanks for sharing that. And that is, brilliant that you brought that up. When you break it down like that, then you know what you need to do, and you can take that number. It might sound, 40 something might sound big, but what if you said, well, one person a campaign or two people a campaign, then, or if you tweak another number like your activity, then that would bring your appointment number down. So yeah, there are things like that. And then think about like incentives. If you're working with your team and you break down, like right now, the crew's like a boss. So, when you are working on goals and you define the strategies, then certainly, it does make it attainable. And it's your guide to achieving. So thank you. That was that was great sharing. You guys are so smart. So thank you for that, making my job a lot easier. All right. So I love this little story. Members of the Harvard 1979 MBA program were asked if they had written down a clear set of goals. Only 3% had. 10 years later, the 3% that had written goals were earning, on average, 10 times more than the other 97% of the class combined. So why do you think this happened?
They knew where to focus.
True. Well, and I think what Gemma just shared, I think that has a lot to do with this. I mean, when you break it down and you have it written down, this clear picture, your clear set of goals, then you know what you have to focus on to get to the goal. I mean, it's clear, right? I mean, I think the key word is, clear set of goals. And only 3% out of that whole MBA program, which that's astounding, right? That only 3% of people from the MBA Harvard program had written down goals. But I mean, look at the proof. 10 years later, they were earning on average 10 times more than the other 97% of the class combined. So, I mean, I think that that's proof that this goal setting module is going to be important to the future success of your business. All right. So it's important to dream big, and Avon's helped many great leaders achieve their dreams, right? And I'm sure a lot of you went to RepFest, And for those of you that did, and you might recall, one of my favorite stories is the story of Pam Heller and her daughter Jessica Stover. And they live, well, Jessica now lives in Georgia, I believe, and then Pam is in South Carolina. But I've met them both and have worked with them both because I had been in that South Carolina market for some time. Even though they weren't in my district, we did lots of joint meetings, and I got to meet and talk with them a lot. But if you've not heard their, Pam's story especially, is that, she had a job that she wasn't especially fond of, and she knew she wanted to leave, and she set clear goals for herself. And actually, I said she had joined Avon many times, but it wasn't until she finally got serious and was hearing stories of other people's success that she really got to work. But what it boiled down to is that she figured out like the specific amount of money that she needed to replace the money that she was making and earning on her job, her full-time job. But then she also knew that she needed to title in the leadership business, and she needed to do it by the end of that year that she kicked off her new Avon business. I mean, when she got serious and came back to Avon and said, okay, I'm going to do it. This is the time I'm going to do it. I'm going to get serious. I need to make X number of dollars so I can leave this job and know that I don't have to worry about the bills, and I need to become, whatever it was, her title that she was interested in getting to by the end of the year, by the end of December of that year. That was her goal, and she achieved it. And not only did she achieve it, years later, then she got her daughter into the business. And even though her daughter's a college graduate, she's never participated in her career choice and knew instead that she just wanted to be like her mother and be a successful Avon representative. So, two success stories in one family. But, it's just so important to determine specifically how your Avon business can help you achieve your dream. And it's also important to determine when you want to achieve the dream. So Pam and her daughter are all over that. And anytime you hear them speak, you'll hear their inspiring stories. So make sure, if you're not following them, to get onto their pages and listen to what they say. I mean, they're just really beautiful people. But, I want to remind you as well, some dreams might take years to achieve, and that's okay. But go back to the A in our SMART goals, which is attainable. So we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. So SMART goals, the A stands for attainable. You need to set attainable goals along the way. And, of course, you may have some bumps in the road, and you might have to change things up. But it's all about, your dream that you wanted and buy, and having your specific roadmap, how much money is going to be required, what title you need to achieve, how much time do you have to achieve it. Okay, so the first step to achieving your dream is SMART goals, and setting goals is defined as establishing a measurable set of targets that will enable you to reach your overall dream. What goals are not, they are not discrete activities, they are not single actions, and they are not high-level concepts. But the SMART framework is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So some examples of a few goals that are not SMART would be maybe if I said, I want to recruit more. That's not SMART. What is a SMART goal would be, I want to recruit one person each month through the end of this year. Another not SMART goal is, I want to increase my personal sales. I mean, that's not SMART because it's not specific, right? It's not measurable. It's not time-bound. Something that would be a smarter example would be saying something like, I want to increase my personal orders for campaigns 3 and 4 by $100, right? So, I had a specific time frame, the campaigns 3 and 4, a dollar amount, so it's measurable. But let me ask you, can you think of any other examples of a SMART goal? Give me an example of a SMART goal. Something that maybe you want to do yourself.
Do you hear me?
We can.
Okay. For me, my goal is make by campaign 26, back to my silver leader. I do the 1,000.
Okay, so you want, by campaign 26 of this year, you want to re-achieve your silver leader status.
Exactly.
Perfect. Instead of just saying, I want to be a silver leader again, you were specific about it, so good. And yeah. I think that you're going to be there. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Anybody else have any other SMART goals that they may be thinking for themselves? Okay, we'll move on. Thanks for sharing that. Oops, what does Mary say? My chat box is not open, so I just see it come up and then it goes away. Okay, so Mary says, I would like to make Gold Ambassador by campaign 26. All right, Mary, I hope that you do that as well.
I have a question.
Sure.
I understand they're saying that they want to reach it by a certain campaign. Is it wrong to say by a certain time frame? Like, is it wrong to say, like, I want to be a leader by January?
No, no, that's still time bound. You just don't want to leave it hanging open, that you want to achieve something, that you just want to achieve something. Well, when
Right.
you don't have to say, it doesn't have to be campaign related. It could be a month. It could be, you might say by the end of second quarter, or you might say, before I go to Rep Fest next year, I want to do X, Y, and Z, so
Okay.
so it just, as long as you need to put a time frame to it so that it's just not hanging out there. Because if you don't put a deadline on it, then you don't know what to put on your calendar. You don't know how to plan for it if it's just hanging out there. So that's why it's important to have some time-bound information there. So be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant. Of course, you don't want to say that you want to be, an executive, gold executive leader by, you don't want to put something that's so unattainable by the middle of next summer. Well, that would be almost impossible. It might take a miracle to get something that so make sure it's attainable as well. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed in your results, and we don't want that. We want you to be able to celebrate your successes, even the smallest success. You want to celebrate those.
Okay.
So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So good question. Okay, so we are going to use these key measures for our goals, and this is going to ensure that our goals are specific, measurable, relevant, 3 of the 5 letters in SMART. We begin with our personal goals because they're the most directly tied to our dream. Our personal goals include our earnings title, our generation 1 new appointments, and our personal sales dollars. And because our team helps us achieve our earnings and title goals, our next step is to set team goals. The team goals are, of course, the team new appointments, the team size, which is the number on your team, the team order activity, which is the percentage, the number of your team orders, your team average order size, so the dollar amount of the average order, and your total team sales. Sue, does anybody have any questions about any of these key metrics? I did include, and I'm sure Kim did as well, and it's actually attached to the presentation tonight. You've got a guide with the key metrics, so you can download that off of this tonight, or it's also been emailed to you. Those in my group, it's also on our Facebook page. All right. There's also a glossary, so we have the measures glossary for your reference, not only now, but in the future you may need that. And I know that these are the right measures to track your team success. There are many additional measures that you might look at, but we believe that these are the highest level measures that drive leader success. So this is why we'll establish our team goals using these particular measures. So you're going to have the opportunity to set your goals as part of the application guide in this module. Okay, so I'm really happy to say that this module has been changed up. Our prior class, we were looking at an entire whole year ahead and the previous 26 campaigns, so it was a lot of work. So we now are looking at 6 campaigns. So let's talk about the things you should consider when setting your personal goals. The first thing you need to consider is your dream. You know, how close do you want to get to achieving your dream? It's important to align your goals, of course, with your dream. Another important consideration is your time. You know, how much time do you plan to commit to your Avon business? If your goals are aggressive, but you don't have the time to dedicate to them, then you're not going to be successful. So it is important to be realistic, like we just talked about, so that your goals are attainable. Again, it's the A in SMART, attainable. An important step in setting your goals is reflecting on past performance. You need to understand your past in order to plan for your future. So I'm going to ask you, why is it important to reflect on your past performance? You know, what can that tell you? Anything?
Well, it could say that you're on track or not on track. I mean, you'll learn where you went wrong, or, you know, along those lines. But I would think.
Right. So it can show you, you know, where you've been successful and where you might need to change your approach, right? So you want different results. If you got bad results, you know, in the past, you'll be able to tweak it and change your approach so that you can get improved results. You know, it can help you understand the impact of your activities and your time commitment. Right?
Yeah. Right.
All right. So it's also important to consider the impact of your first generation new appointments. So, you know, typically they have, you know, pretty sizable impact on your business, and that knowledge to know, you know, knowing how they impact your business is going to help you determine how many you're going to want to add this coming year. So do you know how much your new appointments impact your business? I mean, has anybody like put a dollar to that? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, and just overall, I mean, how do your first generation appointments impact your business?
If I could get them to sell at $150, it could impact my business pretty good.
Well, we can hopefully, you know, mentor to that and work towards that end goal. Right? So, you know, certainly, you know, it's going to grow your sales and your team. You know, your first generation is the most important line of your business. I mean, that you get more earnings on your first generation than your other generations. Your first generation is the generation that we look at for title advancement. You know, you need them to title for you to move title. So the first generation appointments are really important. You know, what else should you consider when setting your personal goals?
even I think, for example, is I work with one of my first generation,
Mm-hmm.
like she can go to, right now she's ambassador bronze. If she go to silver, she helped me because it's going to be $2,000 more.
That's right. So, I mean, think about, if you look at the compensation chart
Mm-hmm.
and you look at each level and you see that, they need $1,000 in team sales to be at that level. That's $1,000 that your team's generating. So, I mean, you can put a dollar figure to all of those, right?
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
when they get to a certain team level, then that's your unit sales. Those are sales on your team. So that's a good point. That's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up, Vilma. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So once your personal goals are established, you can focus on your team goals for the upcoming year. And remember, your downline results significantly impact your personal results like we were just talking about. But can someone give me an example of how your downline results impacted your personal success in a hugely positive way? So Vilma actually described how it could look, but think about in your past, think about whether it was a positive or maybe a negative way. Tell me, share with me how your downline results impacted your personal success, or maybe, maybe it was the other way. Maybe it was, a negative result. Anything?
In my case, I have before one of my leader. She's very good before, and she got some different situation, and she don't work anymore. My online is go down like I think maybe $8,000 less.
Mm-hmm. So once one person impacted your business in a huge way, right?
Yes.
That
Mm-hmm.
one solid leader, if you have any leaders on your team and
Mm-hmm.
they leave the business or something happens, their team falls apart, your business can crumble as well. So it's disappointing when that happens, and you always have to go to plan B. That's why you're always looking for leaders. You're always looking for leaders to add to your team, and look at the people you already have on your team to mentor them in the leadership program, because one person can cause you to lose title, for you to lose earnings, of course. When you are demoted in title, then so is your earnings. I mean, so you fall down to a different earning structure. So if you depend on that income, then that can be devastating. So that's a really good example. Thank you. Thank you for doing
Marie,
that.
I'd like to say something too.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You're talking about losing one person can really hurt you, but gaining a really good leader who is out there recruiting and building the next generation can increase your sales tremendously.
Oh, definitely. Yep. Mm-hmm.
When I very first started, and I started 10 years ago, the first person that came onto my team started recruiting almost immediately. And back then we had to meet a certain, team sales, and between my few people that I had and her few people, I was a leader almost immediately. I forget what they called it back then, a unit leader,
Mm-hmm.
because of those extra sales. So finding a good leader is key. Not ever, we tend to recruit a lot of people that, maybe they sell, maybe they put an order in, maybe they don't. You get that one and you train them that, hey, you got to put an order in every single time,
Mm-hmm.
they can push you right up.
So I have heard some amazing success stories, just like yours, where somebody has been, has joined a team. In fact, recently I talked to a leader. Oh my goodness, where was she from? But anyway, she appointed somebody, or somebody self-enrolled, that she met online. She met through another like network marketing website, where people just share ideas. And this person is also in another direct selling business, but has joined Avon. In fact, she does It Works. So this lady is doing It Works and also now an Avon representative, but because she had all that experience in network marketing, she just jumped in with both feet and started building a team right away. And I think in just maybe 8 or 9 weeks is already become like a gold ambassador in just that short period of time. So you never know. But I know that this leader was saying, oh my gosh, my checks have tripled since this girl's been on my team. She's amazing. And she's appointing all these other people that she knows that are in other network marketing companies. So, that's okay. They can do some other business, they can do Avon and then another business that doesn't, compete with Avon and good results in both businesses. But finding somebody like that understands network marketing, that would be great. But just finding somebody that is really motivated, that's all that you really need. You just need to find people that are motivated. And Betty, to your point, you get somebody on your team that, just is on fire and builds quickly, and it really makes a big difference in your business. So thanks for sharing that. So some of the considerations that you should make when setting your team goals is, what does your team need to achieve in order for you to reach your personal goals? What are your team's past results? What are your team's best opportunities for growth? And where do you want to focus your efforts with your team this year? So once your team goals are set and you considered all of these things, ask yourself, are my goals attainable? Can I stretch even further, right? I'm trying to think of like a process, to get behind, get behind all of this, all these considerations. But anyway, how might all of this be like an improved, like for a team goal? Or what is a team goal? What do we have right now where we can get our team involved in order for you to be earning like an incentive? I mean, let's talk about like Cruise Like a Boss. That's on the horizon, right? That's coming up, campaign 6 we have, I think, to attain that, or I don't have that in front of me, but I think that's it. So, we have some time to work on that. So give me some feedback, what could we do with our team in order to achieve the Cruise Like a Boss? I mean, what does that look like? Or what could you do with your team to get them motivated, for everybody to achieve?
Well, one thing that I was thinking of doing is I want to try to do either a meeting or maybe just, I'm going to try to see if people will go to like a live Zoom meeting or something. Maybe I'll do that and tape it to maybe explain a little more, because a lot of I have a team, but I started about 6 months ago, so most of my representatives are all new. My team, I do have nested representatives, but they kind of like to work on their own. So since everyone's new, I think that they may need more information about it and how to understand, exactly how to get it and all that. So I've tried doing it through email and text. I've been wanting to get them on the phone individually, but it hasn't been working. So I'm going to do maybe a meeting that I also tape, or maybe a Facebook Live, something where I just explain exactly what it is, how to do it, and give a sample breakdown of, okay, well, you're all new, so, and explain, okay, you need to get explain a little more of it is and maybe give a breakdown. Okay, you're in this campaign, so if you do this, this, and this is how you can get 7,000 points or something like that, like
Right.
to try to
I
break
mean,
it down for them.
how fun would it be if you had, you know, several people on your team achieve? You know, how fun would it be for all of you to go together, right?
Yeah.
But you know, we're at the height of our Christmas selling, and I just I think it's just the easiest time right now to get people on board. I mean, we only really have 2 campaigns left to really, you know, get some sales in before the holidays. So, of course, you know, certainly campaign 1, you know, we can still do that. I mean, we have plenty of time for even a brand new person to our team to earn the trip for themselves. So, but you know, I think, Jemmy, you said it earlier about breaking it down, you know, and looking at your business that way. I think sometimes you may have to do that with your team members as well. So on these incentives, and I know Carol Warren and some of the people from our first coaching group had specifically talked about, you know, how they were going to work with their teams to earn the cruise to Bermuda, because they, you know, they were going to go ahead and lay out the steps and make it, you know, just break it down to show them how easy it could be to, if you have X number of appointments, and each of those appointments, if they continue to be putting in $150 orders, you get even, you know, more points all the way through the end of this incentive. So it's just not that first order that you're earning the points, it's every you know, consecutive order after that, or even if they miss an order, I mean, just anytime they're putting in an extra order of $150, then you're going to get points to earn the cruise. But how fun and how motivating that would be for you to go with a bunch of your team members and celebrate together. I mean, that would be so much fun. But so thanks for sharing that. All right. So once you set your personal and team goals, we're going to ask you to set specific goals for key performance indicators for your next 6 campaigns, which is the next 3 months. And it's so important to set specific goals, right? You need to ensure that you're making incremental progress so that you'll ultimately achieve the long-term goals and ultimately your dreams. So let's talk about what we need to consider when setting these shorter term specific goals. So you need to consider, what do you need to achieve to stay on track and reach your goal? What season is it? Of course, you know, that has a lot to do with it. Can you expect more or less from your business this time of year? Where do you plan to focus your efforts? And can you focus on growing your team now, which will positively impact your business in the long term? So what else should you consider when setting your goals for the next 6 campaigns? I think this is a tough one, because I really think that under the consider bullet points, it really does break it down, you know, by asking, you know, what do you need to achieve? Even thinking about the season, you know, right now, maybe a little bit easier coming into first quarter, you know, we may have to get a little more creative. Of course, we have a whole new product line that, you know, might make us think a little bit differently when we're setting our goals for the next 6 campaigns. So don't forget that we have Aspira coming up. So, you know, that you might be tying that whole new product launch when you're looking at your goals over the next 6 campaigns, because that's going to launch in campaign 3, and, you know, we'll be able to purchase some really great bundle opportunities starting in campaign 1. So I think you need to take, you know, some of that into consideration as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
More, but that time, most of the people want to be in diet, and yeah.
You know, and then we have prospecting opportunities after the holidays, you know, looking for people that need to earn more money in the new year, you know, that maybe their New Year's resolution was to earn more money, people that need to pay off their holiday bills. So this is a good time to be setting goals for the next 6 campaigns because there's so much we can do with our business right now. Okay, thanks for sharing there. Okay, so once you set your goals, it's important to reflect on them and ask yourself these questions. Are your goals attainable? Can you stretch your goals even further? Do your specific short-term goals align with your long-term goals? You know, will you make enough incremental progress in the next 6 campaigns to achieve your personal and team goals? You know, and if you find that your goals are not quite right, adjust them. It's okay. I mean, you can tweak them all along. You know, are you working with the right person? Are you spending your time with value-added activities? I had a division manager years ago that always would ask, are you spending your time with value-added activities? So I always think about people I talk to that say, oh, I've been working, on Facebook today, and when you figure out how much time you've put into it, you realize that you got sucked in by Facebook and you've been reading everybody's post on what they ate for dinner last night and, looking at pictures from somebody's wedding and, so, make sure that you're spending your time with value-added activities, right? And for those of you that went to RepFest, make sure you go back and look at your notes from some of the workshops that you may have attended. There was so much great sharing concerning goal setting during those workshops. So look at your notes because I think that, there's a lot that you can look back on and learn from there. So what other questions might you ask yourself when it comes to reflecting to ensure your success? We're all acting like it's Friday and it's only Tuesday. Oh my goodness. All right. I know it's hard, right? Go on.
Well, I was just thinking that similar to something you mentioned, but I'm just thinking about my own personal goals, and I think it's important, like was touched on, that especially the ones that deal with our team, that we are choosing the right people to work with. Because if we say, okay, we want, and not only that we think it's good for them, but they want to. Because we might have someone in our downline that seems like they would be amazing at leadership. But if they really don't want to, as much as we might, be trying to force them to, they're not going to advance at the same, it's still good to maybe encourage them. Mm-hmm. But if we have especially time-sensitive goals and things like that, then we need to make sure we also have people that really are wanting it and are going to put forth the effort, because we can't want it more than they do. They have to also want to do it in order for them to be able to succeed.
I agree.
So maybe to choose the right people.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Yeah, you have to be making sure you're working with the right people, and it's true. You can't. I think sometimes we do want it more for them than they want it for themselves. So sometimes you have to realize that and just move on to the next person. Or look, your superstar on your team may be somebody you've not even met yet. So you may have to go out and look for that person. And those of you that have smaller teams, certainly, you're going to have to be out and really, busting your tail to get new people on your team, because if your team's not moving and it's not going the direction that you want it to go in, you need, fresh new faces on your team. So your superstar may not yet be on your team. So
the other,
go on.
Sorry.
That's okay. Go on.
I agree with what Gemma said, but also the other thing is to not only listen, like there's a lot of people on my team that say they want things, but then once I break it down for them and I'm like, this is what you have to do, they're like, oh, yes, yes, yes. But then a week later when I follow up with them, they haven't done anything. So they want it, and obviously they don't want it enough, but they tell you to your face they do. So it's important also to try to read those people and know, like to even though they're saying that they want it, to know that they don't really know what they really want.
It's true.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And then sometimes people just say that because they know that that's what you want to hear. Yeah, so I think, sometimes it's almost a game, and you have to figure it out, right? So yes, certainly. I agree. And then then you're going to have representatives that that in their heart they really want to do it, but bottom line may not have the skill set to really do it. And do you want to spend a lot of time with somebody that really doesn't have the right skills, or doesn't I don't want to pigeonhole anybody, but let's just say you have somebody in your team that they don't have a car, they have nobody to help with transportation, so they may want to be a leader and they may want to move their business, but the time's probably not right for them, and certainly you want to encourage them to work to try to get better with their business, but are you going to spend a lot of time with somebody that may not have the tools? So you have to be really, really careful to make sure, again, that you have value-added activities, because you don't want to be driving that person all over, or helping that person build their team because they don't have transportation, or they don't, they have, 5 kids at home and no transportation. What are they going to do with all those kids and they don't have a car? So I think we just have to be smart. We have to be smart with the way we are running our business and work with the right people. So thank you.
I was just thinking about my situation here. My husband and I take care of his mom, and I up at night, and he takes care of her most of the time during the day. So I have to fit my Avon in and taking care of my girls and their questions, when, of course, when they're available and they need the answers. But I also have to realize that I need to be more for them right now instead of me until I have time to actually work my business.
But so you've been able to figure out a balance right now that's working for you, and you have the support of your husband, so that's good, right?
I have the helpers now that bring me orders and stuff for my selling aspect, keep my selling going, and then I have the team that I work with. With that, I like to send them different, like, I'm doing a newsletter that's coming up, and I like to send them newsletters so they can keep up on what's going on, because a lot of people, like, we all don't read emails or updates.
It's good. So you're being smart with your business and keeping your team informed. So that's what's important, right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep up with all the stuff that we're doing on this class as well.
Great. Good. Good. All right. Good sharing. Thanks, Brenda. That was awesome.
Marie?
Go on.
One of the things that my upline has always said to me is, you might recruit somebody and they, in the beginning, are very gung-ho and they recruit 1 or 2 people, but never really get going after that. She always said that it's really important for me to get to know those second generation or third generation people, because they could end up at some point being your first generation. And it's better for them to know you from the very beginning and know that you're there to help them and support them. Just, you're not going to say just in case your friend gets out of it, but that's a possibility,
Well,
lose that promoter or, you know.
I agree. I mean, look, they're on your team, and through attrition in our business, they may end up being in your first generation, or and bottom line, if they don't have an upline that's taking care of them and mentoring them, they're still part of your team and you're earning from them. So giving them the knowledge that they need to be successful, if their upline's not taking care of them, or even if their upline is taking care of them, you never know what's going to happen. Life, sometimes going to throw you a curveball, and that person may leave the business and that person's going to roll up closer to you in your genealogy. So certainly, you want to be in touch with everybody in your downline. And as with the new compensation plan, my friends, let me tell you, as you grow your business and grow title to higher levels, you will begin earning deeper. So you could be earning, from your fifth generation and from your fourth generation. So getting to know those people, whether or not you're earning from them now or not, getting to know them, because eventually as you grow your business, they're going to be part of your team, so including them in your newsletters, and including them, inviting them to your team pages, setting a relationship and building a relationship with all of those people. And of course, always include their upline in any kind of communication so they can see that, they're part of a bigger picture, a bigger team. So, but they're all part of your team. So whether they're in your second or third or fourth or fifth generation, they're still part of your team, whether you're earning from them now or not. So that's a good point. Thanks, Betty, for sharing that. Okay, so once your goals are set, it's important to think about how you're going to achieve your goals, right? So what is a strategy? How do you define a strategy?
Well, it's usually like a map. Like
It's
you
true.
have to know
Yeah.
where you're going from one point to the next, and what are your steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's like a high-level set of activities. Maybe not a detailed set of activities, but a high-level set of activities. And it's important to think about your strategies for achieving all of your goals. So think about what has worked in the past, what's not worked in the past. Think about your most challenging goals. What new strategies do you have to accomplish these? And remember, doing the same things will yield the same results. So if your goals are different than your past results, you'll need to do something differently. So again, stop doing things that aren't producing results. Think about your personal goals. How will you achieve your title goal? How will you increase your earnings? How will you increase your personal sales? How will you identify potential new representatives? And then think about your team goals. How will you help your team increase total orders? How will you help your team increase their average order size? How will you help team members place more orders? How will you help your team members to place orders? How will you increase total team sales? How will you help your team grow their teams? How will you help representatives become leaders? And how will you help your teams, how will you keep your team satisfied so they keep their Avon businesses? So possible strategies, continue doing things that are proven successful, do more of your most productive activities, stop doing things that do not produce results, and try new activities that could drive results, right? So, what are some strategies you might plan for the upcoming year? So think about next year. What are some strategies you might plan for the upcoming year?
Yeah.
I struggle with just getting responses from my team members to find out what they want or how to improve communications, or even working with them in the field or mentoring online or on the phone. That is a huge struggle for me, just to get a response.
So what's a strategy you could maybe do in order to try to help with that?
Well, recently I held a team barbecue here at our home
Mm-hmm.
and invited 33 of the team members that lived nearby. I invited everyone, but I knew there was 33 that lived close enough to be able to make it with their families, and I had 5 that attended. And I got 3 that actually responded, and everybody else just ignored it. I send out the constant contact. I try to text them, call them, email them. I get nothing. Even I got 3 brand new recruits that aren't qualified yet. I see them open in the emails and the e-cards and such. I've had one that texts me back that she received it. The other one, I can see she opened it, but I don't get anything back. So I don't know how to strategize for the team when I get no response.
So I think that your concern is pretty universal. I know that even coaches talk about how difficult it is to get people to respond to, answer the phone, number one, respond to text messages. It really is
I would
difficult.
be happy with a leave me alone. Anything. Let me know that I'm here. Just something.
Tell me that you've seen something I've sent you. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we have any clear answer on what's going to help. I know personally for me that I find, and coming into this coaching position after having 3 districts, managing 3 districts at once, that to your point, I could see that people were opening e-cards. So I knew that they were seeing some of that, but then I realized that majority of people were not even opening their email. So email doesn't work most of the time. So we probably waste a lot of time sending emails. They never go, they're never being read. People don't answer their phones, maybe because they have a phone plan, that they have to pay for every minute that they're talking, so they don't answer their phone, but they might be reading a text message. So texting's probably better than emailing. Facebook, I think that most people nowadays read Facebook more than anything, so maybe tracking them down on Facebook and making sure they're part of your group, and making and sending them messages on Messenger may help.
Right, and hoping, right, they need to accept a friend request before you can add them into the group.
Exactly, yeah.
That's another issue, right.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
I was thinking that maybe, I was thinking about, because I couldn't get a hold of all my new ones that were nested. I left messages, but thinking of maybe sending like a little card that says, hey, I'm here for you, let me know what you need, and have like a couple questions to email, text, or Facebook, or whatever. But I'm on Facebook, this is our group, and all that stuff. And then have a return stamp on it so they could just send it back in the mail after they answer it.
Yeah, and that's not bad. And I did learn something in the last year or two about sending snail mail, that if you hand write the envelope instead of printing the label,
yes,
people are more likely to open it up.
Yes, I've learned that too.
And yeah, so you might want to give that a try, and don't even put a return address on it, because they're going to be curious who's sending them what might look like a Christmas card, and they may open it up. So yeah, so that's funny that now we're going back to snail mail and people complain, oh, nobody sends anything in the mail anymore. But
one of the things that I used to do, and I'm just now going to get back into it because I went to the post office the other day, and I learned it from Robin McGowan, and she used to talk about wild cards. And you can go to the post office and buy, pre-stamped blank postcards.
Ooh.
And send them to team members. And every campaign, I was sending some out, to different people saying, wow, you had great sales this time, or you are #1 on my team for sales. And I used to get a lot of response to that where people would thank me and, they'd put them up on their refrigerator. Robin McGowan said when she was a representative years and years and years ago, and she did this, she went by and visited somebody in her downline, and when she went into the house, there were all these postcards all over her refrigerator. And she was so proud of them because she said, "You're the only one that gives me any recognition." And I haven't done it for a while, but I just went to the post office this week to get more, and I'm going to start doing it again.
I love that. I love that. People like to be validated, and getting something like that. So #1, it's a postcard, so they don't have to even open an envelope. It's cheaper for you to mail out. And then go ahead and it could even be a sticker somewhere on the postcard, so you don't have to handwrite it, but go ahead and say, please join my Facebook group, and put the link to your Facebook group. Go ahead and just stick that on there, but handwrite, wow, what a great job, or so happy to have you on my team. Just something. I mean, they don't even have to open an envelope to see that. And I think I love that idea. And it doesn't take hardly any time at all, and it's very inexpensive. So I love those ideas. So thanks for sharing. So can everybody see the goal setting homework, the application guide?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we've covered all of the seminar content, let's talk about this application guide for this module. It's called Your Goals and Strategies. By completing the guide, you're going to be outlining your dream and set both sort of long-term goals and short-term goals, and the measures that we discussed. So you'll also create strategies for achieving them. So we sent this off to you. It's also in the materials attached to the seminar tonight, so you can download those if you don't already have them. But you can see the first part is define your dream and why. So it is I want, and then by a date, so it's specific and measurable. In order to achieve my dreams, I need to make X number of dollars, and with a title of, so wherever you feel like your title needs to be to get there. So, it could be I want to achieve cruise like a boss by whatever date, March. I need to make X number of dollars. I need to be the title of what for you to achieve that incentive. So whatever your dream is, okay, then set your personal goals for the next 3 months. So what did you earn in the last 3 months? And you're going to get this information, by the way, and Kim and I both sent you a little tips guide on what reports you need to pull in Vibe in order to get these numbers. So if you are not familiar with Vibe, you need to start becoming more familiar with Vibe. And if you have any difficulties pulling your numbers, then just let us know and we'll help you. We can jump on Vibe together and do like a little live, maybe a Zoom meeting. But everything that you need to fill out this form, you're going to find on Vibe. So what did you earn in the last 3 months? What is your current leader title? Then what are your personal goals for the next 3 months? Your title, your total earnings. So look at that. Then reflect on your past results before you set your goals. Think about what drove your results. Can you repeat? What can you do differently? So if you had something good happen in your business, would you repeat it? How would you change it up to get better results? Maybe you did something that didn't yield any results, but you think it has a lot of opportunity. How would you tweak it to make it better? How much time did you dedicate to Avon? Will you dedicate more or less time in the next 3 months? Where do you need to focus? What can you do better? How are your results trending, and why are they doing that? So if they're trending better, why do you think that is? If they're not trending as well as you would like them, why is that? Have you had, maybe you've started back with another job, or they've added more time to your schedule, or maybe you've had something happen, some kind of life change that would be hindering your business. All right, review your results from the last 6 campaigns. So just fill this out from right now. So like campaign 23 and go backwards. So 23, so you can start with 23 at the top, and then 22, 21, and just work your way backwards. And then put your averages there in the bottom. And then same thing with your team measures. So campaign 23, working your way backwards, last 6 campaigns. And then setting your goals for the upcoming. So setting your goals for campaigns 24, 25, 26, 1, 2, and 3 for going into 2018. So that's setting some personal goals, and then your team measures. You know, where do you see your new team appointments, your team size, your team activity, your team orders, your team average order size, your team sales. So this is just goal setting for your personal and for your team. And then ask yourself, are these goals attainable? How aggressive are these goals compared to past performance? If you achieve your goals for the next 6 campaigns, how much closer will you be to achieving your dream? Do your goals for the next 6 campaigns put you on track to achieve your long-term goals? And then define your strategies. You know, an example would be, you know, make 5 contacts a day, 5 days a week, plan and execute Avon opportunity meetings. You know, of course, those are just examples. And then the box on the right talks about, you know, remember selling drives earnings, sell $50 to 5 people. Those of you, of course, that are in President's Club, you're going to get that 40%, but if you're not, you know, the 30, 35, 40% showing there. The new recruit who sells $150, that's a $20 bonus and 3% sponsoring bonus. So it shows you, you know, just the possible strategies. On the left, back on the left again, think about your personal goals, think about your team goals. We already talked, we went through all of that a couple slides ago. And then your call to action, do 2 things in the next 2 weeks to make progress towards your goals. Make them SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. All right, so that is the application guide. Let me get back here.
Can I ask?
Sure, go on. Mm-hmm.
And you know, if we're in Trendsetter, you want us to go from where we're at.
Correct, yeah. So Trendsetters, you take, you know, whatever. Yeah, you're 2 ahead or...
Yeah.
Yeah, so certainly, yeah, so go Trendsetters. We'll look at those numbers. All right. I think I emailed this out to everybody, and then it is attached again here tonight. So we don't want you to spend a lot of time on this, but let me just tell you what our goal is. The next module, and again, we're not going to kick off the planning module until for another 3 weeks. So we're got a little more time built in there because of Thanksgiving. What we found on the last coaching group is that almost everybody was not really clear on how much time they were spending on their Avon business. So numbers weren't jiving, the percentage of time didn't match up with you know, what they thought they were doing. So we're just trying to help you, because this will just help you figure out what you're doing with your business bottom line. So starting tomorrow, so starting Wednesday, just start keeping a log for the next 2 weeks. Or whenever you want to write it down. So even if it's just calling a customer to follow up on an order, or you're leaving a voicemail message, or you had to drop off an order, or you are doing an event, or, you know, anything related. You're doing Facebook posts, you're sending emails, you know, whatever you're doing relating to your Avon business, whether it's selling, so whether it's on the selling side or on the leadership side of the business, whatever you're doing Avon, put it down on the calendar and put down how much time you spent. So if you spend from 10 to noon tomorrow calling your customers to collect orders, then block it off so that you know that you've spent 2 hours on Wednesday calling customers. So does that make sense? Just start jotting down everything that you do in the next 2 weeks. Or however, if you just want to do it for a week, then that's fine too. It at least give you a better idea of the time that you're spending and where you're spending your time in your business. Any questions there? Okay, all right. So let me know if you didn't get that, and I'll definitely send that to you. For our group collaboration call, which is next week, so not this Thursday, but the following Thursday, the hot topic question is, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? So think about that. Again, reminder, homework is due in, so that application guide is due in by the end of the weekend. Please do not procrastinate on this one because it's going to take you time to pull the reports and get your numbers, get it down on the paper. So don't wait till the last minute to do your homework. And again, as you work through your application guide, just set your goals high enough to inspire you and then make them attainable enough to encourage you. Believe in yourself and what you're capable of. We'll get more tactical with planning how you're going to achieve your goals in that next module, and doing the calendar is certainly going to help us with that. All right, my friends, so that is it for tonight, but I'm going to hang on here for just another minute or two to see if anybody has any questions. And y'all don't hang up yet. I need to take roll before you hang up, so let me get back there. And let me make sure I've got Barbara and Betty and Brenda. We've got Edna, Gemma, Jackie Jamison, Joanne, Marie White, Mary, Cook, Millie, Matos, Sylvia, Tawanda, Tressa, and Valerie and Vilma. Okay, I think I've got you all accounted for. Okay, ladies, if you need Kim or I, please reach out. If you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and keep this webinar open for another few minutes. I'm going to take my brand new puppy outside. He's sitting by the door waiting for me, but I'm going to keep it open, so if you need to download those documents, they're there for you. Otherwise, you know, if you need me to email them to you, I can do that as well. Have a good evening. Let us know if you need any help with your application guide. Otherwise, we'll be looking forward to seeing those by the end of the weekend, and we'll do our one-on-one calls next week, same time, same place. Good night, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Marie, question. You say probably you want to be at the Ando office, maybe but you want to send the email?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like when you're there, I want to go and a little bit and talk to you.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Millie just left. But yeah, we'll get together.
Okay.
Okay, honey. All right.
Good night.
Good evening.
Adios. Okay, bye-bye.
Marie? She's still there.
Go on.
Oh, you're still there. I just forgot exactly what oh, do you have, or I didn't know if anyone had the link to the Vibe training that I missed? I think you guys had a training on about Vibe.
Oh, I thought I sent that. Did I not put that on Facebook? Check Facebook. I'm almost sure I put it there.
Again, because the other day I couldn't, but my Facebook's also been acting crazy. I'll
forward the link to you.
Okay.
Okay.
I also checked with Lucky today. Well, I don't know if you prefer that I call you, but I went to Lucky Market, and they do have a small room that you can use for free.
Oh, do they really? Woo.
Yeah, so it is really small, but since people, it's basically, you know, we can set up products, people can come in and out. You can create, he says when they do like a homeschooling where they put chairs out for everyone, there's about 15 people in that class.
Okay.
It's 20 to 25 people, but they say it's really, they feel it's about 15 people comfortably.
Okay. Well, yeah, if it's just like a little drop-in, come in and take a look at the car, you know, see a little product display, then that should be big enough. Okay, I'll let Elaine know. Good.
And I'll email you some information that they gave me. I'm going to try to take pictures of it.
Okay.
And they didn't have a digital copy. There's like a contract and there's pricing on there, but it's free to use the room. And you don't have to buy anything through them. But if you want to offer, I think it's like bottled water, coffee, like
Oh,
they
yeah,
give you
yeah,
options
yeah,
if
definitely.
you want
Get some
options.
snacks and stuff. So it's like a grocery store?
Yeah, it's really nice. It was my first time in there. It was
Okay.
like
Lucky
a very
market.
interesting.
Is
Yeah,
the,
like you can.
is the location good?
Yeah, it's right on 192, and
Okay.
it's a shopping center. And a lot of people went in today about 4 o'clock, I think, and there was a lot of people coming in and out. And the room has like glass doors, so people, I mean, it is kind of on the side,
Uh-huh.
but still people passing by could look in and see. And the way they had the table set up, like right now, when you looked in the glass doors, there was a table pushed up against that, the opposite wall.
Okay.
So I figured that'd be a good place for the products because it could catch people's
definitely.
attention.
Yeah. Thank you, Gemma. That's perfect. Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, I'm actually
the price is right.
I
I mean, gosh, what a great place to do like team meetings and having the opportunity to be right there to buy snacks, cookies or whatever and soft drinks and water and not have to haul that stuff in when it's just right there. That'd be great.
Oh, I know. I was so excited. Elaine is the one who said, she's like, she had heard it somewhere, but she hadn't gotten a chance to go. I was like, well, I'm going to go check. So I'm going to tell her as well that we should definitely try to have meetings there now.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm going to go ahead and forward that vibe training to you in just a minute.
Okay, perfect. And I'll email you that. I'm going to scan that tomorrow because my husband's trying to fix the printer, so I'll scan it and send it over to you so you have those documents.
Great. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, no problem.
Take care. Good night, guys. Go on.
This is Betty.
Hey, Betty.
So you had mentioned that you might be coming over this way on Friday.
Yes.
Are you still planning on doing that?
So, yes, I do. However, it might be just the morning. So I'm waiting. My husband has been so sick. So right now I'm trying to get him into the doctor on Thursday because I'm going to be in Orlando all day tomorrow. If I cannot get him into the doctor on Thursday, then I'm going to come over early on Friday and then drive back over here like right after lunch and just take him. I'm just going to take him to the emergency room and see if there's something they can do to help him. I think he has pneumonia. The doctor swears that he doesn't, but yeah, I mean, it's been like 3 weeks now and he's just really been sick. So anyway, yeah. And he's such a baby when he's sick. So it's more for me. It's more for me than it is for him. It's like I want his butt to be up and back at 100%. I can't. I'm having a hard. We have this new puppy and I'm like, trying to take care of a new puppy and oh, it's like it's his turn to get up in the middle of the night, let this puppy out to the bathroom.
It's like having a baby.
It is. So yeah, so right now I am planning on being over there Friday morning. So I'll let you guys know. I'll give you an idea. Okay.
All right.
Great.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too.
Have a good night.
All right. Anybody else? All right. They're being done. I'm out of here. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.